When you're ready to take better looking pictures than you can with a smartphone, it doesn't mean you have to move up to a big changeable lens camera. Just look at the Canon Powershot G7X. Hi, I'm Larry Becker. This little camera is a big performer. It's the new Canon Powershot G7X, and while it looks small, the sensor is surprisingly big, and the performance is especially quick. So let's look at what it offers in the way of speed. We'll look at the ergonomics and controls, image and video quality. We'll dig a little bit into wireless communication and even some special extras to help you capture unique images. To begin with, the Canon Powershot G7X has a Digic 6 image processor. It's one of the reasons this camera is so quick. It has a burst rate of 6.5 frames a second, but if you've been around cameras a while, you'll know that that's only part of the story. So using a Class 10 SD card, I tested it out and I got about 25 JPEGs at the full resolution of 20.2 megapixels before the buffer topped out. And when I stepped down to 12 megapixel images, I got about 86 shots before the buffer filled up. So obviously that's pretty good, and the fact that the buffer cleared in about 5 seconds is even better news. Of course, there are quite a few other factors that can affect burst speed. There's a higher quality JPEG compression available. You could be burst shooting with autofocus turned on. You could add raw images to your burst capture, all of which will slow down the burst speed. The autofocus with the G7X is surprisingly quick. There are 31 autofocus points, and as with most cameras, pressing the shutter button halfway activates the autofocus. The AF can be configured to cover a broad area of the image or a smaller area for prioritizing focus on small details. Also, it surprised me how quick the camera was ready to go when I turned it on. And that's helped along by the built-in lens cap, which allows the photographer to simply point and shoot. This is a well-built little camera, and it has some solid weight for its size. I like the thumb pad grip on the back of the camera, but I would still wear a wrist strap, and I'd probably also add a front grip, maybe like the FLIPBAC G3 for a camera this size. The controls and menus are straightforward and easy to use. There's a My menu so that you can have quick access to the controls that you use the most, and up on the shooting mode dial, there's even a custom position so that you can program the camera to shoot the way you want it to. I should point out that there's a control dial on the back, but sometimes that won't adjust the setting that you might expect it to. For instance, I flipped the shooting mode dial to TV for shutter speed control, and I discovered that it was actually adjusted by the control ring. That's the dial around the lens barrel. The ring will control different things in different shooting modes, and the detents allow you to get both audio and tactile feedback about how many steps you've adjusted it. You can tell Canon has enthusiasts in mind because there's an exposure compensation dial, and you can tell they probably won't expect people to use the tripod mount a lot because the quarter 20 mount on the bottom is right beside the battery and memory card door. There's a built-in pop-up flash, but no hot shoe for add-on external flashes. My personal favorite aspect of the Canon Powershot G7X's ergonomics is the 3-inch 1.04 million dot flip-up touchscreen. You can use the touch sensitivity to pick your focus point, select menu items, scroll through captured images with the swipe, pinch and zoom, and of course, you can turn on touch shutter. Since the LCD can flip up 180 degrees, you can turn on the 2-second timer to take advantage of something Canon calls selfie ready. Just touch the screen and shoot. The image quality of the Canon Powershot G7X is going to be a big step up if you're used to smartphone images and even other point-and-shoot cameras. It has a 20.2 megapixel 1-inch sensor, and that sensor is nearly 4 times as big as what you'll find in many other point-and-shoot cameras in this category. When you pair that bigger sensor with raw image capture or high-quality Canon JPEG processing, you're starting with a quality setup. When you move on to the 4.2 times optical zoom, that's also optically stabilized, you'll see yet another advantage the G7X affords you. The image stabilization has several scenarios from which you can choose, including panning and macro settings, or You can leave it on intelligent IS, and the camera will guess which is the best stabilization method. Essentially, you have the 35mm equivalent of a 24 to 100mm zoom. That's an ideal range for everyday shooting. Plus, the wide aperture setting is f1.8, and even when you zoom all the way, it's still f2.8. Paired with the large sensor, that wide aperture helps you more easily produce shallow depth of field images with those beautiful, blurry backgrounds, and it physically captures more light. For even more help in low light, the native ISO of the G7X goes from 125 up to 12,800, and that means you'll have those better quality low light shots. On the video side of things, the Canon Powershot G7X delivers impressive 1080 60p video that you'd never have expected from a point-and-shoot just a few years ago. The colors are good and true, and the audio was good in my testing, but do keep in mind there's no external mic plug on the G7X. Considering that pictures these days are frequently shared on the web, it's helpful when camera makers help you do that more quickly and without a computer. The Canon Powershot G7X has built-in Wi-Fi connectivity, and there's near-field communication for quickly pairing with a smart device also equipped with NFC. I tested the free Canon Camera Window app on my iPad, and I'm happy to report that it was really quick and easy to set up and connect. I just pressed the Wi-Fi button on the side of the G7X and then signed into the network that it generated using my iPad. The G7X touchscreen asked me if it was okay to let an iPad connect, and I touched the confirmation control and I was in business. I was able to quickly see all of the images on the memory card, and I could remotely control the camera and see what the camera saw. You can remotely control the shutter, self-timer, flash, and even the zoom. Some of the wow factor in this camera comes from the robust feature set for enthusiasts and pros. They'll appreciate things like programmed auto, shutter or aperture priority, and full manual shooting, along with that custom mode I mentioned earlier. Plus, they'll appreciate special built-in extras like exposure and focus bracketing, a built-in ND filter, a manually settable self-timer, and the countless ways that you can customize settings and button functions. For example, I turned off digital zoom and I bumped the image quality settings up right away. And some shooters will love how the camera can apply things like filters and even special shooting mode settings. There's a creative shot shooting mode with natural monochrome and retro. There's a scene mode with special settings for portraits, star pictures, underwater shots, snow, fireworks, and others. I was kind of surprised though that the manual mentioned underwater settings without including some sort of warning, because this isn't a waterproof camera. I'm often amazed that features take higher priority than image quality with some buyers. But then, I'm happy when Canon comes out with a camera like the Powershot G7X that's packed with features, and it has a 1-inch high-quality image sensor. This compact point-and-shoot is versatile, fun, and it happens to take great pictures too. For B&H and Kelby One, I'm Larry Becker. Thanks for watching.
Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, B&H has the answers to your questions. Experience a world of technology at our New York City Superstore. Connect with us online or give us a call. Our staff of experts is happy to help.
Scott Kelby here, and welcome to this quick tour of our online training. We have hundreds of online classes for you, covering everything from lighting to landscape photography. From portrait photography to sports, we have classes on wedding, automotive photography, shooting, food, fashion, travel, you name it. The most incredible part of this is the price. You get all of this for just $199 a year, or you can pay monthly for just $24.95. 24-hour a day, 7-day a week access from anywhere in the world. I invite you to join with us today and start learning right now.